I'd like to introduce you to Russ Roberts.
Thanks, Jeremy. Hello, everyone. I'm going to show you how I'm going to take this report by the USGS that covers the Monterey Bay off the coast of California, and I'm going to develop a 3D scene in ArcGIS Pro. I'm going to then share it to ArcGIS Online, and I'm going to use that new functionality that came in the update to ArcGIS Online last week and create a rich 3D web app using Web App Builder's new support for web scenes. So here in Pro, I've already started the scene, and you can see that I already have some detailed elevation added. This elevation data is coming from my own elevation service, which I created with the bathymetric data from the USGS report. I published it to my ArcGIS server, and then I added it into Pro. I also added in a geology layer and styled it to match what it was in the USGS report. The next thing I want to do to this scene is clip its extent. So I'm going to clip the extent to the geology layer, and this will help keep my audience focused on just the canyon area. And the extent that I'm clipping it to will also be used in the web scene that gets created when I publish it to ArcGIS Online. So here we have that scene updated with the clipped extent. The next thing I want to use, I want to add in some sediment sample data that was collected by the USGS, but I want to use 3D symbols. I can use some preset 3D symbols easily in Pro with just a few clicks. So I'm going to select my sediment samples. I'm going to use the centered spheres, and with these preset symbols, I can actually drive it by the attribute data within the sediment layer. So I'm going to use the percentage of sand that was measured in the samples to drive both the color and the size. Now I'm going to apply a slight scale change so that way we can easily see it on the scene. And there we go. There's our 3D spheres added in to our scene, and we can see right away that it looks like the samples towards the landward side have a high concentration of sand, while as you get to the center of the scene, we can see that it drops off significantly, and this is where the mud belt exists within the canyon. Now I'm going to share the scene to ArcGIS Online. So when I share this scene to ArcGIS Online, it'll create a web scene. It'll also create new hosted feature layers from the layers that I had added to my scene. It's going to preserve that extent that we've clipped it to, and it's also going to use the exact same elevation service that I have here in Pro. So I just need to give it a title. Give it a little summary. And some tags. Now, just to save some time, I'm not going to make you guys watch me share the scene to ArcGIS Online. I already have it ready in my browser. And here's that same scene that we had here in Pro with that exact same extent, using the same elevation service and 3D symbols. In the scene viewer, I can also create my own web scenes, or I can update them. So in this case, I want to add some slides to this web scene. I can easily capture slides which capture the camera angle. It also preserves stuff like layer visibility. And if I was using any of the environment settings like sun position, time of year, that also gets captured. Now I just need to save my scene to apply my changes. And now I want to bring it into a web app. So new with that, what I mentioned before, new with the recent update to ArcGIS Online is the ability to create rich 3D web apps using either our templates or using Web App Builder. I'm going to use Web App Builder today. So underneath my content, I go to Create, App, and I'm going to use Web App Builder. Now I just need to select the 3D option, give it a title, add some tags, and we'll launch Web App Builder. Now, in just a few clicks, I'm going to create a rich 3D web app. So I can choose my theme, so I'm going to use the foldable theme. I'm going to update my toolbar color, and just adjust the layout quickly. Next, I want to use that local scene that we were using in the scene viewer. So I'm just going to choose it. And this will load in that same web scene that we saw in the scene viewer. Extent is there, the elevation data is there, the symbols that we were using, everything has been preserved. Now I'm going to edit the widgets. So in Web App Builder, you have the ability to add and remove widgets or create your own. I'm going to remove the environment which controls the sun position or the time of year, because I don't want my audience that's going to be using this web app to have that control. And as the 4.0 JavaScript API matures, there's going to be more widgets coming to our 3D web apps. Now I just need to update my attribution, and here I'm going to apply my branding. I just want to save my changes. I'm going to launch that web app that we were just working on. And here's our final product. We just created a rich 3D web app using a scene that we authored in ArcGIS Pro. We edited it in the scene viewer and online, and then we created a rich 3D web app in just a few clicks. And we can see those slides that I added are still there, and the elevation data is present as well. Thank you very much.